So in this week's news roundup, we've got some information. Carnival issues a warning that can affect everybody on every cruise line, regardless if it's NCL, Carnival, Celebrity, Disney, Royal Caribbean. Listen to this warning. We also find out that the NCL Prima broke its moorings ropes while disembarking people. Celebrity proves it does not like solo travelers. And Disney has decided it doesn't like ducks.
My name is Stuart, this is Ship to Shore Cruise News. Let's get into it.
Carnival has come out with a recent warning to all passengers, and this is something that's applicable to all passengers of all cruise lines, not just Carnival. Remember, drinking age is 21, and you got to remember that when you get off the ship, you have to abide by local laws. Marijuana is not acceptable on the cruise ship, and if you do get it on the cruise ship, be very wary of where you smoke it when you're in international countries. And always, always, always turn your phone into airplane mode once you get onto that ship. Turn cellular data off as well. Recently, a family returned from a Carnival cruise and they found that they had over $400 in roaming charges. They couldn't figure out exactly what had happened, but all they know is that they were giving their child their phone to play games on. And, well, that might have incurred the charges. Who knows what the child was actually doing on that phone? Were they roaming the internet? Or maybe that game they were playing was an online game using up data. So be very careful with your phone when you're on those cruising ships. You never know when you're going to wrap up that data. Carnival has also clarified its drone policy. So yes, you can bring those drones aboard, but you can't use them once you're on board. Once on board, your drone will be stored with the chief security officer, and it will be signed back in whenever you go to use it. When you are in the different ports, make sure you abide by the local port authority rules and regulations or the country's laws. They don't want you using your drone on board the ship because you never know what's going to happen. You could end up losing control and it could crash into some sensitive equipment. It could crash into people and cause an injury as well. Or it could end up going overboard and crashing into the sea. If that happens, Carnival could fine you up to $500 for disobeying their policies and rules, and then you might be liable for any fines that any environmental group may issue. So please be very careful what you're doing with your drones and obey all rules, regulations, and laws wherever you go. As many of you know, Carnival has brought back their behind-the-scenes tour. Behind the Fun, I believe it's called. I've taken one of these on a different cruise line, and it's really neat. It's really cool. You get to see what goes on behind the scenes. I got to see the laundry, the recycling facility, which is pretty cool. I got to see where they store the food. I was able to get up onto the bridge. It's a really neat tour. Carnival, though, recently had a problem with their booking on this. Typically, this tour is offered on the last sea day of the cruise, but in this one instance, Carnival was having a problem with their booking system, and people were receiving confirmation that this was going to happen on embarkation day of all days. I'm sure it would be quite interesting to see how they deal with all the food and provisions that they bring on board that day and how they deal with people's luggage. But they don't want people in the way. They're usually pretty busy that day. So double check it. If you did book it, make sure it is on the last sea day. If it's not showing that, you better call Carnival, call your travel agent, and just get clarification of the day. And the Costa Firenze is sailing its last sailing as a Costa branded ship. It's going to be going into dry dock for extensive renovations and new paint, and it's going to be coming out as the Carnival Firenze. It's going to be joining the fleet in its new home port of Long Beach, California. Take a look for that. It's going to be offering exciting 3 to 7 day sailings down to Baja, Mexico, and the Mexican Riviera down the west coast there. It's going to be visiting all the exciting ports that you're going to want to see down there. I'm very excited to see that ship set sail out of Long Beach, California. It's So Celebrity Cruise Lines, they have some bad news. Recently there was an outbreak on one of their ships. I'm just going to read this here. On the Constellation, nearly 100 guests of just over 2,000 guests were struck down with norovirus, unfortunately. So they weren't having a very good cruise. Celebrity did come out and say that at the end of the cruise it was going to go through a really deep cleaning and that it would slow down embarkation on that day, and I'm sure everybody's happy to know that they're going to put a little bit extra effort into cleaning and sanitizing that ship before they get on. Celebrity also, they've released some information. They did some polling and people are coming back for their cruise line mainly because of the customer service they're receiving. So people are finding that they love Celebrity. Did I say Carnival earlier? Anyway, I'm talking about Celebrity. They found that their customers are coming back for the service they receive. That's the number one reason. People are also enjoying the food. They think the food's great. They think the entertainment on board is great. And they also love the ports of call. What's interesting about that, though, on the flip side, it's been recently discovered that Celebrity is penalizing solo cruisers. Typically, if you're a solo cruiser and you book a suite, a guest suite, a cabin, they'll charge you a single cruiser supplement. And usually you pay for 2 people instead of 1. What people are finding now, though, is that if they go in and they do bookings for a single traveler, they're finding that they're paying more than double. So they're paying more than double what it would cost on other cruise lines. And depending on the suite that they're choosing, it could end up costing them close to triple. So some people have reached out to Celebrity to say, hey, why are you penalizing these single travelers? And there hasn't been anything official, but it sounds like Celebrity is trying to make up for the lost onboard spending. So if you only have 1 person in the cabin, then you only have 1 person buying that extra dining. You only have 1 person gambling. You only have 1 person going on excursions, and you only have 1 person buying stuff at the stores. So they're trying to make up for that revenue, and I think it's horrible that they're going forward with this and charging people an extra rate, especially since all the other cruise lines seem to be encouraging solo travelers. We have NCL has their solo suites, Carnival is coming out with solo suites. Everybody is trying to grab that solo cruiser market, except for Celebrity. What's interesting though is once that person is no longer a solo, where are they going to go with their family or their significant other? They're going to go back to a brand that treated them well, not to a brand that's going to rip them off. Recently, the NCL Gateway had to skip the Bahamas, the Royal Naval Yards there. They couldn't dock because of expected high winds. It was about 45 mile per hour winds, making it really dangerous to the ship and passengers for it to dock. So they canceled that port and they added St. Martin instead. Interestingly enough, that takes them about 1,000 miles away and out of the way of those storms. So people were able to get a new exciting port. I'm sure Norwegian did everything they could to take care of those passengers to make up for any lost excursions and lost port as well. On January 5th, the Prima was disembarking passengers at Galveston, Texas, and they was undergoing extensive high winds of about 47 miles an hour. During the disembarkation process, one of the mooring lines actually broke, which caused them to suspend all disembarkation procedures at that moment, so nobody could get off the ship for a little while until they secured that ship. Now, the ship didn't actually float away from the dock, but one of the mooring lines actually broke. This also delayed people embarking the ship as well. Now, this isn't the first time it's happened to this ship. Back in July, when it was in Belgium, it was experiencing high winds and the Prima broke 2 mooring lines during high winds. So it's unusual for it to happen to one ship. Sometimes it's never happened to a ship in its entire sailing life. But it's interesting that the Prima, this has happened twice in 1 year. Odd coincidence. The NCL Pearl recently was at the Dominican Republic's new Cabo Roja destination port island. This is a new destination port in the Dominican Republic for cruise lines. It's not completely finished yet, but currently ships can dock there. When it is completed, they can have 4 of the larger ships docked at one time. On this island, you've got everything from shopping to eating to excursions. There's a beach, there's a water park, and there's shopping, everything you're going to need. This is an exciting opportunity for the Dominican Republic. I've been there once, and I have to say that the dock that NCL came to was pretty nice there, but I'm excited to see what this Cabo Roja looks like. On NCL ships, you also notice that they have the American Diner on a lot of their ships. It doesn't seem to be too popular. It is a extra fee to eat there, and it's only open in the afternoons. Well, NCL has decided to make this complimentary dining going forward. They are going to be modifying their menu a little bit, taking out things such as their lobster slider. So you're not going to see those more expensive items on the menu anymore, but you will see traditional pub foods there, especially when it comes to things like hamburgers, hot dogs, fries, and so on. You're going to be able to get some really good food there. What a lot of people don't know about the American Diner space is that originally it was for Margaritaville. That was a place that thrived and was successful for quite a long time. And about the time the contract ended for Margaritaville, Margaritaville decided not to renew it, but now you have Margaritaville at sea. So maybe that's a reason why they didn't renew that contract.
I like to use free Wi-Fi whenever I go somewhere, whether it's at an airport, a cruise terminal, cruise port, a coffee shop, wherever I can get it, I like to use it. I know it's not the safest thing to do with my data because when I'm on those free Wi-Fis, anything I put over the internet from there is available for anybody on that free Wi-Fi network to see, including hackers, and they could try to steal my passwords, banking information, and photos as well. To protect myself, I use a VPN from a company called Personal Internet Access. What this allows me to do is to surf virtually invisibly on the internet. Nobody on that Wi-Fi network can see me. The people providing the internet access can't see me. And there's no logs kept of my traffic anywhere. What happens is as I put my information into my electronic device, it goes through what's called an electronic tunnel, and it goes through the Wi-Fi out onto the internet where it's not being tracked. Now when I say even PIA doesn't log it, they don't keep any logs of your traffic or anything that you do when you go on the internet, and that's been proven in court by a third-party auditor. This is something safe and secure to keep your data safe and secure as well when you're surfing on the internet. Now when you log into the Personal Internet Access VPN, it will log in automatically to the closest server. Now in the United States there's 50 high-speed servers, and they actually have 91 high-speed servers in countries around the world as well, giving you access to data and information from other countries, from wherever you are in the world. Now why would this benefit you to be able to access a server in another country? Well, if there's a streaming service that provides different content in another country, what you can do is you can log into that VPN server from wherever you are, then that streaming service will think you're there in that country, and you'll be able to access that content and data. So you'll be able to watch those shows and those movies that you can't watch at home. So just think, if you're an American and you want to watch something that's only available in the UK, just log into a UK server. If you're a Canadian and you want to log into something in the United States, just log into a United States server. Now logging in when you launch the app is easy. It'll automatically search and go to the fastest server it can find. Now I said that I use it when I'm traveling on my personal electronic device. And what's great is that with one subscription, you can put this on an unlimited number of devices that you have. You can put this on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer, your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Apple TV, your Fire Stick. You can put it on some smart TVs as well. giving you streaming access to different countries from whatever device you want to use, and giving you protection on all those mobile devices that you use when you're out at coffee shops, cruise ports, or airports, or wherever. Now, this is something that I use all the time, and I think it's great. It's safe, it's secure, it's super easy to use. By using the link I have below, this will get you 83% off of their fees. This will bring the monthly membership fee down to $2.03. That's it. $2.03, you get to be able to stream from different countries. You get to protect your data whenever you're on any device, on anywhere. Your local IP won't even be able to track you and keep a log on you as well. Your government won't even know what you're doing on the internet as well. You'll be able to have freedom, privacy, access on as many devices as you have for $2.03 a month. And if you don't like it, there's a no-hassle money-back guarantee that's good for 30 days.
When it comes to Disney, Disney has some interesting things happening. They just partnered with Roku and the Roku smart items, smart TVs, and so on with their new Disney ships, the Disney Wish. And what they've done is they've been able to add the Disney Wish into the screensaver. So there's a Roku City, and going forward you're going to be able to see the Disney Wish, and from now until that first sailing of the Disney Wish, you're going to see different hints about what you're going to be able to find on board that ship. This was found out by another vlogger, and he thought it was crazy because he was just walking by and saw it. But Disney has come out and made that announcement that they've made this partnership with Roku. So on the Disney Fantasy and the Disney Dream, there's a secret game. Not everybody knows about this, but it's hidden away. Disney's pretty famous for doing secret things everywhere in their land-based operation and their sea-based operation. Out on deck 5, outside the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, I'll say that 5 times, you're going to find the steering wheel for the Jolly Rogers. So, if you go up to the steering wheel for the Jolly Rogers ship, you can steer a ship. Now, right away, it doesn't look like anything. It looks like it's just a steering wheel for an old-fashioned sailing ship. But once you start moving it, the artwork on the wall behind it starts to move. And before you know it, you're piloting a pirate ship through the Neverland Lagoon. As you go through the lagoon, you're going to find exciting experiences such as a hidden cave, and I'm told there's pirate treasure to find as well. They even mentioned there's a chance that Tinkerbell's going to fly by. So check that out. Let me know. Deck 5 outside of the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Use that steering wheel. See what happens. So Disney Cruise Lines has an actual policy regarding those little ducks. You know what I mean? Those cruise ducks that people hide and they trade them and they find them. It's fun for people. There's a lot of crew members who love it. There's a huge following online of people who love to search for these ducks. Anyway, Disney actually has a policy that says, yes, it's okay to bring them on board, but you cannot use them in the pools, and you are prohibited from hiding them in public spaces. So yes, you can bring them on board, but it's against their policy for you to hide them. What's the reasoning behind this? I don't know. Maybe people are just hiding them in the wrong spots and inaccessible areas. Who knows? But Disney does have their own duck, and what would Donald be saying about this? Yeah, I'm sure Disney is missing an opportunity to sell their own duck to be hidden on their own ships, and I'm sure a lot of people are not going to enjoy finding this out the hard way. Before I get to the final last things, I just want to ask you if you like this content, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button too with that notification if you'd like to hear more news and updates from the different cruise lines. It only helps me, it costs you nothing, and I would really appreciate it with that thumbs up and that subscribe. As we move on, you know, I have to make sure that there's 3 important things that you know about cruising in addition to what I've told you today, and that's my name's Stuart. This is Ship to Shore Cruise News. And as always, get your cruise on.
Bye.